Mr. Harris is here. No, I think Mr. Harris is here. I'm not
Yes, yes.
sure. Okay, Mr. Harris. I don't know if I should take the lead first, then you come second, or you can go first, or if you permit me, I can go ahead.
Well, it's fine. We can do it the way you want.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much, everyone. It's my privilege to be with you and share my thoughts regarding being a scholar in South Africa. Okay, my name is Rodrigue Fon. I'm a PhD candidate at the University of Johannesburg. I actually started my master's in the University of Johannesburg. I did my undergraduate back at home at the University of Buea, and I later on moved to South Africa. On a personal note, I'll just be straightforward. I'll go straight to the business of today. On a personal note, having a scholarship in South Africa is not really, it's kind of easy, but getting yourself into South Africa in a legal way, it's quite difficult because I'll share an experience of a colleague of mine who actually had an opportunity to be granted a scholarship by MasterCard Foundation, I think back then in 2018 at the University of Cape Town. And unfortunately, he was denied a visa. That was just the reason why he couldn't manage to get into South Africa. On my own side, I got into South Africa. Initially, I didn't get through a scholarship. I actually, paid everything and I came to South Africa. And I came into South Africa 2018. I applied before I applied to the University of Johannesburg, and I was admitted. So I started 2019, and the first semester I actually paid the tuition fee, everything from my pocket, and so it was quite not easy. So, but I'm assuring everyone who is willing to be part of the scholarship programs in South Africa that if you bear with us and follow the small instructions or our own ideas that and personal experiences that we've gone through, you will find yourself having a very easy access to your stay and your scholarship programs in South Africa. Okay, so the reason why I'm saying so is because we all know scholarship programs are awarded based on your academic performance. That is the principal fact about it. And also your leadership skills and many other factors, which I think most of us, we all know. So with bearing this in mind that, being able to fund a master program or an honors program in the university, it's quite expensive. So I had to work my ass off, and uh, um, I went into research. I did a research and publishing. So my performance was actually graded based on publishing, because I felt like that was the only means I could impress the people, the supervisors which I was working with, in order to place me to be at a position which is different from the other students. So when I went into publishing, I published some articles, some conference papers, some journals, and the rest. So the second semester of 2018, I was awarded a scholarship, and since then it's been very easy for me. So 2019, 2020, I also was the scholarship still covered my program, and when I applied for my PhD, I was now given an internal bursary. It's kind of an internal bursary course. When I checked online, I found that the privilege was mostly given to South Africans. What I mean is the scholarship which I'm currently on So, but because my supervisor currently was working at the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research, I was kind of awarded an internal person, which covered my virtually everything. So for my PhD program. So that being said, I'll just throw light into the types of scholarship for especially the international ones that I know of in South Africa. So I know of the MasterCard, which I mentioned before. I know of the Mandela Rhodes Scholarship, and I know of the Commonwealth. Those are the most, the top three ones, the three options which I know. I think there might be other options, but I think if we apply for these three, I think you must have at least one. And I wouldn't want to go into details of each of them because I know most of us, we know the various requirements that are needed for you to be granted a scholarship for each of those programs. For instance, you need to apply at the university, and when you are granted the admission later, then you can now use it to apply for the various scholarships. And bear in mind that each university is in partnership with various scholarships. For instance, I'll use my university. It's in partnership with the Mandela Rhodes University, the Commonwealth, the Mandela Rhodes Scholarship, and the Commonwealth Scholarship as well. Then University of Cape Town, University of Pretoria, and a host of others, they are also, involved in MasterCard Foundation scholarship. Then I think that's a brief, brief introduction into the various scholarship which I'm aware of. And talking about your movement into South Africa, I will say before it was quite difficult because I've actually also mentored some individual friends and colleagues of mine that later joined me into South Africa, into gaining access into South Africa. But before it was quite difficult. I'm not sure why, but recently I found out that if you follow the due processes, you will get yourself into South Africa as easy as possible. And just to mention again, if anyone has an opportunity or granted a scholarship into South Africa, please feel free to maybe contact me or just request, write me on the email on how you can, put together your stuff in order to get your visa into South Africa. And I think I'll be very much grateful to help anyone in that light. So I think I'll give the floor to Mr. Harris, but if something comes up, I will join him later on. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rodrigue. Mr. Rodrigue, sorry. I'm going, as Ursula presented, I am Harris Danui Tamanjo. I am a third year MasterCard Foundation scholar at Sciences Po Paris. But presently, I am doing an exchange program at the University of Pretoria. So it is not really a convention or something to do an exchange program. It is one of the privileges that we at Sciences Po have in our curriculum, that every third year student have to do an exchange program outside of France. And so you had to make a list of 6 choices, and I made my 6 choices. And then Sciences Po validated the University of Pretoria. So that's why I find myself here. And yeah, my experience so far in South Africa has been great, to be honest. We had a lot of meetings with the French embassy in Cape Town, a lot of things that were told to us by the school in France about life in South Africa and also like education in South Africa. So I was actually I'm not sure if you guys can hear me. Can you guys really hear me?
Yes. Guys, I can hear
Okay.
you.
Okay, perfect. So when I got here, my experience as a MasterCard Foundation scholar, so I am coming to South Africa as a MasterCard Foundation scholar from a different university. I met the MasterCard management office here at the University of Pretoria, and they were very welcoming. They were very welcoming, actually. And they kind of integrated me into the system, considering me as one of their scholars, actually. I was actually very surprised to find out that so far in the history of the MasterCard Foundation's Scholars Program here at UP, they've had just one Cameroonian student, and she did the master's. She was here for her master's degree. I was actually very surprised. I was actually very surprised to know that they had just one Cameroonian student. So when I think about it, I actually realized that probably one of the main issues that discourages students from applying to schools and scholarships in South Africa in general. I'm not sure, but before even coming to South Africa for an exchange program, I had testimonies from other Cameroonian students that are in France that came to South Africa also for similar programs. They were kind of discouraging me from applying for the visa in the consulate in Cameroon. And this is actually a very funny experience I had because during this time, the MasterCard Foundation at Sciences Po already booked our flights for Cameroon for the summer. So I found myself in Cameroon during the summer. And then I told myself, okay, I was going to apply for the visa through the consulate in Yaoundé. I'm sure Mr. Kaba can really remember this experience because I was always sending him messages, sending him emails complaining about the services at the consulate. These guys, the process, the visa application process in Yaoundé, to be honest, it's very strenuous. Those guys, they find something that they will use to somehow deny you the visa because I couldn't understand why they kept on bringing up different motives for me to provide some documents that were not really necessary because sometimes they will ask for a document and then I'll have to write to the University of Pretoria to confirm, and they'll tell me as an exchange student I do not need that document, but then the embassy needs the document and there's no way you can really relay information between the two institutions. So I eventually had to leave Yaoundé and go back to Paris to apply for a South African visa. So you can imagine I had to lose one semester because of that, and eventually just doing one semester here at UP. So when I think of it that just very few Cameroonians do apply for scholarships and universities here in South Africa, I kind of relate to it very much because of the experience I had with the consulate in Yaoundé. But yeah, I think so far it has been some of the things on the list of discussions, especially during scholars representative council meetings. The last one that we had in Rwanda last year, in September last year, during one of the meetings with the MasterCard Foundation officials themselves, I kind of gave them a suggestion because now we had the meeting and they were asking what are some of the challenges that us scholars face in our different countries and what the MasterCard Foundation could do on their side to help. And I gave them a suggestion that perhaps it would be beneficial for the different institutions and scholars that to get accepted into these universities and also offer the scholarship that the MasterCard somehow endorses their visa application process. It may sound really too much, but yeah, I think it's something that if the MasterCard Foundation actually put in some efforts to see that they could endorse the visa application processes, somehow it would be easier for students that obtain scholarships to obtain visas into these different countries because yeah, it's possible to obtain a scholarship, but then you really have a big challenge at the level of obtaining the visa. Yeah, but so far it's been great. I mean, life in South Africa, it's a little bit more expensive than life in Cameroon, but to be honest, the academic wise, yeah, the level of education is very high. Education is studies are very intense, especially in student areas. Yeah, everything has been great so far at UP, I can say. I don't know if you have something to add, Mr. Rodrigue.
Yes, Mr. Harris. No, thank you so much for highlighting, especially at the visa level. I'm so happy you also had this experience as such. So I think if, as you recommended, if the various organizations which offer the scholarships that could also, intervene at the consulate level, to improve or the services, especially there in Yaoundé. It's quite horrible. I just 2 months ago, my wife also got here, through academics or a visa, which was quite also a difficult process for her to get the visa. Everything was in order, but then they rejected the visa. I had to do an appeal, and before it was granted. So I'm kind of also recommending that. Then with regards to you coming to South Africa is a very beautiful place, although there are some places, in every country, there are some aspects which it doesn't really sit well with everyone. So I'm encouraging everyone at South Africa. Where I am, it's very safe. Pretoria is quite the safest so far. I always just transit from Pretoria to Johannesburg. It's like 50 km or 50 kilometers. So, but I prefer being in Pretoria because of safety purposes. And also, I would like to encourage you that even if you don't have a scholarship in South Africa and you have a means to start up your studies in South Africa on a personal note, I will encourage you, because trust me, guys from Cameroon, to be precisely, are very strong academically. So whenever they go into wherever they are, like for instance, when you come here from Cameroon, and you are in the same class with the citizens of South Africa, you find yourself like the lecturer of that class. That is certain. So, and when you are at that position, it's easier for you to get access to those facilities which they themselves, the citizens themselves, they enjoy, because because of your your contribution to the society, and to the university at large. Because doing the research is also a very important aspect, because the university as well can grant you, or at the departmental level, they can give you a scholarship. Most universities as well, they give internal scholarships to students based on performance internally within the university. So I'm appealing and encouraging guys that don't be discouraged because of the visa processes in Cameroon. If you can find yourself in South Africa and you engage into a program in the universities of South Africa, I'm really encouraging you guys to take it as a challenge, and you will see for yourself that you excel beyond even your imagination. And you find yourself having scholarships here and there, and you be the one to choose whichever one you want. And also, just to let you guys know, here it's a very nice place. I'm sure Mr. Harris can testify that it's a very advanced place. Like the cities there are comparable to the New York cities, and whatever. So I'm very much encouraging you guys to please apply to the various openings. And I'm happy and I'm grateful that in some few months ahead, I will be welcoming most of us in South Africa. And just let me know when you're at the airport. I can come pick you up and set up your wherever you're going. Then we take it from there. Thank you so much, Azocha. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Kaba, for giving us this opportunity. I'm grateful.
Just before Ursula takes the mic, I just wanted to add one last thing. So the University of Pretoria has launched the MasterCard Foundation Scholars Program for this year. I think it's limited to the postgraduate level. So I just wanted to say that right now I am in direct contact with their office. So I would just encourage everyone to go ahead and apply. If you have issues with the application process, you can reach directly to me and I can relay the information directly to them if you cannot get in contact with them. Also, regarding the visa application process, if ever you find you have issues at the level of the consulate in Yaoundé, feel free to reach out to me as well. I think I've had some experience and I'll also relay the information directly to the university here. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Rodrigue and Harris, for this beautiful knowledge shared. We are grateful. And thank you so much, Rodrigue, for the welcoming spirit That shows how united we are as Cameroonians and always willing to accept and incorporate everyone into a little community. So next we'll have Philip, and Mr. Philip is a Fulbright scholar at Arizona State University. He's a very great mentor, I must say, and has been with Open Dreams from the creation of the Open Dreams Center in Yaoundé. Mr. Philip has been there through it. He's been able to mentor a lot of people through the undergraduate and master's level. He's also the pioneer president of the Cameroonian Fulbright Association, and he's been able to lead many projects with teachers, with the Teachers Training College in Cameroon. So Mr. Philip will be blessed to receive and having you share your experience with us, how you navigate through all these processes. Thank you.
Hello, Sila. Hi, everyone. Good morning from Arizona in the United States of America, and thank you very much for this great initiative. Before I write on, I want to find out from the main host if it is possible that I share my screen. Please, I need administrative rights. So as I said, it's a wonderful pleasure being part of this great initiative to see how we can connect people so that we exchange ideas in order to be well connected to nations in order to grow academically. And in less than 30 minutes, I will have to present how I succeeded in navigating through the Fulbright scholarship and what we need to consider in order to achieve this. Without much ado about nothing, I'll basically be focusing on the Fulbright program, which I arrived in the US last year in July for the program. Please, I am still struggling that my screen should upload and I will write on. Please, are you seeing my screen?
Yes, I can see it.
Okay. I don't know what is happening. Please just give me a second. Let me unshare the screen and reshare the screen. Okay, I hope it works this time. I don't know what is happening. You permit me.
See your screen.
Yeah, but the screen is not moving. That's where the problem lies. Okay, I think the problem has been solved. Okay, as I was introduced, my name is Theta Philippon, and I'm a current Fulbrighter at the Arizona State University, precisely at the Iran A. Fulton School of Engineering. What is the Fulbright Scholarship all about, and how did it begin? The Fulbright Scholarship is one, or I should say, the main flagship program of the U.S. government, and it was established in 1946 after a bill which was submitted in the U.S. Congress by the then U.S. Senator J. William Fulbright. At that time, the U.S. had just walked out, or should I say, the Second World War had just ended. And there was like growing initiatives to look for ways in order to foster world peace. And Senator Fulbright, in his own idea, thought instituting a program which was going to connect people and nations was going to do the trick. So that bill passed through the US Congress in 1945, and on the 1st of August 1946, It was signed by the then US President Truman, and then the Fulbright Scholarship was instituted under the Bureau for Educational and Cultural Affairs of the US State Department. And a board was equally created, which each US president given the powers to appoint the head of the Fulbright board. So briefly, that's how the US scholarship came into, the Fulbright scholarship came into existence. And one clear message about this is that it is a US exchange funded program with a goal to connect people, connect nations, to foster world peace, the sharing of knowledge, and the growing of talents. Okay, as I said a while ago, the mission of the Fulbright program is not very much different from that, which Fulbright's mission is to foster mutual understanding between nations, advance knowledge across communities, and improve lives around the world. The photo you can find on the screen, it is just us Fulbrighters here in the Arizona State University in one of our Monday come-togethers. And then as for the mission in partnership with 160 countries, so meaning that it connects all the countries of the world, the US, even those which the US is in some kind of a political tension with them. Russia, we have Russian scholars here on scholarship here in the US, and you can think of other countries which the US has some kind of a diplomatic tension with them. So it goes beyond disagreement in ideas in US policies. It rather goes to a greater extent in seeing how they can build bridges in order to overcome those challenges US faces with other countries. Now, what does it take for someone to be to apply for the Fulbright program? I think these are some of the essentials I have listed here. One, you must be a national of the country in which you are seeking to apply for the Fulbright scholarship through. Meaning that if you have to apply from Cameroon, you must be a Cameroonian. If you are in Nigeria, you have to go to Nigeria and apply for the scholarship. You must have a master's degree, a bachelor's degree, or a PhD. This simply means that there are different levels and different categories of the Fulbright scholarship program. There is the Fulbright Foreign Student Scholarship for those who are going in for master's degree. In that situation, you need a bachelor's degree or a master's degree. And if you are going in for a second master's degree, it must be on another field. There is equally the Fulbright African Research Programs. That is still for master's degree students who are already on the PhD research. And there is a component of the Fulbright for those who are already having their PhD program and they just need an opportunity to come over in the US and continue their research in their area of specialization. You have to be able to meet a minimum score or require that is a very, very essential component of it. During the application process, I mean, there are some indicators in the application which can judge whether you are actually excited, enthusiastic to return home and share the knowledge you are going to learn in the program. And you must demonstrate the leadership qualities. You must have a desire to further Fulbright alumni activities by giving back to your community upon return, meaning that at least you must show an action plan, or you must show that intention that you will come back from the program and work in order to enhance the Fulbright pool. And in the Fulbright application process, preference is usually given to applicants who have not yet had recent or extensive experience in the United States of America. If you are such a candidate, then you stand a good chance of winning the award. But it doesn't limit that if you have a US experience, you can't win the grant. I was here in the US in 2015 for an exchange program, and I won the Fulbright grant. It simply meant that it was going to be challenging for me, and I already knew that. I think that's how I managed to overcome such challenge. And you must have not held a Fulbright scholarship before, again, but you can still, but you have to prove beyond reasonable doubt that it is worthwhile giving you a second Fulbright scholarship. Myself, this is my second Fulbright scholarship. The first was in the area of teaching. And students are already studying in the United States are not eligible. So this is what we should bear in mind. Okay, the application process, it takes an online format that runs across several parts, which I will lay emphasis on some of the parts shortly. And you have to be aware of the fact that in order to commence to begin your application, you must design or have a well-structured curriculum vitae. Yeah, we say you must have a CV, it's good. But I think when you have a well-structured CV, there is no format to do that. It increases your chances. You must already have three, should I say, people who have to be a reference. Yeah, the three references, let me put it that way. In most cases, it is advisable that you have those who have to do 2 academic references for you and maybe 1 professional. It's highly recommended. The application process involves a personal statement, a study objective, and in some cases, you are required to present a writing sample, meaning that there are some master's degree program which asks for that, and for the PhD, I think in nearly all the disciplines, you need a writing sample. So be aware of all of this. Now, here are some guidelines I would like to share with us. For those of you, I really think at this time, there shouldn't be someone who is still thinking to begin the application, I mean, for this window in Cameroon. And just to encourage or to let us know that the Fulbright Scholarship is something which it is going to take about a year at least to prepare for its application. And once you take much time, after knowing some of these facts which I'm teaching here, it makes your sailing through the process so easy. So you have to upload copies of all your post-high school testimonials and transcripts as a PDF file to the platform. So the application is done online. And in these cases, you have to scan all the documents, again, as I said, in PDF, certificates, and explanation sheet. In some cases, yeah, I think it is highly recommended, explanation sheets on how the grading system of your countries, the function, it equally increases your chances of being selected. You have to understand, in some universities in Cameroon, it is quite challenging having some type of GPAs. Yes, and then again, there are some research work which have already been done about that. If you can scan such scientific research on that and you use to back up your seemingly low performance, it can increase your chances. And they say final selected applicants will be asked to hand in an original transcript. Yes, and in that case, will be a certified document. So don't bother from the first stage. You just need to send in your PDF documents, and then later on, if you're selected, you'll be called on to bring in the real thing. And then the transcript and the certificates must be in English. Yeah. But again, this very important point to let you guys know is, for instance, my transcript in the University of Yaoundé 1 is in English and in French. I think if it is in that type of a manner, there is no problem. You don't need to translate it. But if you have a transcript which is exclusively in the French language, then you have no alternative than to translate it into English language. And it is absolutely necessary to know GRE and TOEFL test scores are quite very relevant. Quite relevant. But however, before you apply, if you don't yet have a GRE and a TOEFL results, don't bother yourself. You just apply and you indicate you haven't yet taken the exams. And once you sail through, the US Embassy is going to pay so that you take the exams. So you have to bear that in mind. So a while ago, I talked about some of the essential elements, the essential recommendations for the Fulbright Scholarship application process. I said it has several parts, or maybe different parts. Let me not say several parts. The parts are not really as several, as many as some people may misunderstand me. But the high points of this application process, I would say the determinant, what determines, or what has to contribute in letting you make it through are your personal statement 1 and your study objective 2. So these are the parts I want to like lay a bit of emphasis on them. Now, let's begin with the personal statement. What is it all about? It gives you, that is the applicant, the opportunity to introduce yourself to the reviewer. Okay, meaning that you have to talk about yourself, and you do that by describing yourself in the past, in the present, and in the future with respect to your study goals and with respect to the Fulbright objective. I already listed some of the Fulbright objectives, meaning that you have to place yourself in context and talk about yourself in an essay format. And while doing this, you have to like consider the following. You include information about your educational or your education, practical experiences, your special interests, career plan, and purpose in applying for studies, the Fulbright studies, and for studying in the US. So you must like back your argument with that. And maybe in 1, 2, and maximum 3 pages, you must explain who you are and what is important of you. That is in the personal statement part, and what you intend to accomplish in life. That is, here you are talking about your goal. You must bring out what is unique about you in life and in your qualification. For instance, if you are asked the question, if a scholarship was to be awarded just to one person in Cameroon, why should it be given to you? So you should seek to provide that answer in your personal statement. You should be able to discuss experiences and people and events that inspired you and which have shaped you to be the who you are. And you must equally demonstrate a commitment to the chosen field. Okay, you want to apply for studies in environmental and resource management. Why? I mean, is it relevant giving that scholarship to you? So you must be capable of demonstrating your commitment, at least in order to woo or to convince the reviewer of your application that no, you are the best and you make relevant contribution with the knowledge you gain from the program, if actually you are given the scholarship. So I will now move on to the next important part of the scholarship application. Application, should I say? Yeah, application, let me put it, which is the study objective. The study objective helps the reviewer to better understand the applicant's purpose study goal. So in this part of your application, you have to like shift now your description in terms of the program you intend to study here in the US for the Fulbright program. And in this situation, you have to describe the program in clear and very detailed manner. You have to do this by being specific about your degree objective. Here, I mean the degree you want to acquire a scholarship in, precisely the major field and your specialized interest in that field. And then you have to also do it by explaining why you are interested in that area. Don't just say, I want to pursue a master's degree in educational psychology. And then you just end like that somewhere without explaining detailing why this is relevant to you and why you think you can make the world a better place if given the opportunity to acquire a master's or a PhD degree in this field. You equally have to do this by describing how the kind of program we should expect fits into your educational background, future objectives and goals. And then let me just come in from this point to let you know that with the Fulbright scholarship, it is possible to have a bachelor's degree in international relations and you go in for a master's degree in public health. It is possible. But now, what and how it is connected, master's do that possible, as I've said, and you must be able to state how your study in challenges in your home country. Oh, you want to? Hello, am I still connected?
There's some breakage.
Let someone.
Yeah, at my end, there's some breakage. Yeah.
No, the breakage is coming from my end. I must confess. I don't know what is happening.
Okay.
What is happening? Yeah, my Wi-Fi
Okay.
here in my apartment has some issues. It is really disgracing America. I never believed internet could be could be behaving this funny here in the US when I was not yet here. Okay. What do I say? Let's say, for instance, you are seeking a master's degree Fulbright opportunity in let me say aeronautics. Let me put it that way. Or aeronautics engineering. You must have will run a high risk of not being given the award. You must equally try to mention how you intend to apply the knowledge that will be gained in the program upon completion. Okay, during your application. And then again, don't forget that this study objective equally will be running through about 1 to 3 pages. So you have to be precise and concise. You have many things to present in few words. Take note. Now, in the application process, I will call you all. I think I just have about one more slide to go to watch out with the following whenever you are applying. Write your personal statement and study objective in an essay format. Please, I insist on this because some of us, why we think it is just common to know about that. While I was a mentor in Open Dreams, I discovered many things. Actually, not from the mentees we grew up in Open Dreams, but from some other people who were coming into Open Dreams and were trying to guide them to discover that they did not know this essential element, that all of this should be written in an essay format. I mean, the personal statement and the study objective. So let me repeat it. It has to be that way. And then again, something very important, beware of plagiarism in your application as it is considered a highly serious offense. Yeah. While some of us know it is a serious offense, some people still play with it. In 2021, I was surprised to hear 3 persons were dropped out of the Fulbright scholarship from Cameroon because of plagiarism. Yeah, I think they were really like close to receiving the award, and they were convinced beyond reasonable doubt that they plagiarized, because when they were even presented the statement at the level of the US embassy, they were arguing, and then they actually called them and had a mutual agreement, and they all agreed that they were involved in plagiarism practices, and fortunately they did not know that. Well,
Suji, no be serious.
Mr. Philip, you're muted.
Thank you very much, Philip.
Yes. Okay, thank you. So for those of us who are connected to Open Dreams, given to it is like a virtual wall, make sure that whenever you complete your application process, you invite an Open Dreams scholar to review the to help you in the review of the application. Is very, very important. You can either do that by sending the document to somebody, or while if you are in the Open Dream Center, you invite somebody and help you do correction. I think that's equally the role of mentors in the Open Dream, to equally help you in that. So without much ado, and why being hopeful that I have not gone beyond the time which was allocated to me, I will end at this stage, and I will equally recommend that I did a blog on my Fulbright journey, or on my journey to the Fulbright program. And the goal of that blog is to encourage others. My journey to the Fulbright took 4 to 5 years without any exaggeration. Mr. James Akaba knows that. And to him, at one time, he asked me, Philip, is the I told James that we can't. The other programs, they don't really make sense to me. But to be sincere, to me, the Fulbright scholarship has always been my dream. And if you ask me why, I will just tell you, it is because of the prestige of the scholarship program. I am here for a third master's degree. Yeah, people will ask me, why a third master's degree? Yeah, I didn't have the opportunity to apply for a Fulbright PhD scholarship, given that in Cameroon, the chances are slim. I think those are some of the facts I have to give you here. If you have to apply for PhD from Cameroon, then you are taking a risk, a high risk. Yeah, so I just said, okay, since I need a Fulbright, let me begin with that. And anything, other things which comes my way, I will grab it and move on with time. So I have a blog which I did on my Fulbright journey. I encourage others to read because it's going to motivate you. It's going to encourage those who've been applying and not making, and they feel like dropping. And I think it will equally like present my life story, which it can help you to like contextualize your own story and do a better application for the program. Ursula, thank you very much. Dear participant, thank you equally for listening to me keenly. Though I don't have sufficient time there for the 3 minutes remaining, I think I have more than 3 minutes remaining, or just 3 minutes. Okay, please, but if you have some questions to ask, I will gladly provide responses to them. Thank you once again.
Thank you so much, Philip. I feel blessed listening to you right now. And the information you've shared cuts across a lot of other fields, not just the Fulbright application process, but other scholarship opportunities, such as you have the personal statement or essays you have to write and avoid plagiarism. You also have to make sure you have people to proofread for you and avoid submitting on the deadlines, and every other thing you said. It's very key when it comes to scholarship applications. And I must say I've learned a lot from you, and I believe others have done same. And thank you very much. Looking forward to hearing from you again soon.
Okay, thank you, Ursula. I just have one question. Let me just provide a quick answer to one question I find on the chat box from Ngum Keming. You are trying to find out if you can contact me directly for clarity in the process of application. Of course, I am always open, and I will gladly do that. Currently, I am mentoring about 3 applicants for the Fulbright scholarship. Yes, so I'm doing a lot already, and I'm happy. I'm just through my exams now. So again, back to the open community. For those of you who've been struggling to get to me for all this while, and it has been challenging, please, I think I am now free. I am now a little bit open, so I think we can begin the process from where we ended sometimes back. Okay, once again, thank you very much for this opportunity. Thank you, James Akaba, for inviting me to be part of this great meeting. It was really a pleasure.
Thank you, Philip. Thank you. We'll take more questions at the end of the session. Please, we would like to call the next speaker. Thank you so much. Okay, so our next speaker will be Zita. And Zita is a PhD student at the University of Massachusetts Lowell, where that she has her second scholarship opportunity in the University of Massachusetts Lowell's, and her first scholarship was for her master's degree at the university in Africa. Yeah, she's such a great person, and we'll all be happy to have her share her experience as she was able to navigate her way through and secure a scholarship through to the process of a PhD. Thank you, Zita. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Ursula. Hello, everyone. Can you all hear me very well?
Yeah, very well. All
right. Okay, thank you. It's a pleasure being here. As Ursula said, I'm a teaching assistant at the University of Massachusetts Lowell, where I'm doing my PhD and researching on solar photovoltaics, recycling strategies, and other possible solar PV projects. So I'm going to be sharing how I got this particular PhD opportunity and also my master's program, the challenges I faced, what I did, and I hope that by the end of today, I'll be able to clarify some doubts for some prospective PhD or maybe master's students and so on. So starting with my master's program, when I finished my bachelor's degree in Cameroon at the University of Buea, I think I had a lot of doubt about the possibility of getting a scholarship opportunity, though I also graduated as a third birth student. I had very good grades for sure, but I had a lot of doubts about getting a scholarship opportunity. It wasn't that common then. And so I decided to enroll for a master's program. But still, I had a group of friends who also were trying to get scholarship opportunities, and so they applied. One of them got selected, and I was like, wow, so it means that this thing is for sure possible. So I started applying for different master's program. I applied for the Commonwealth and different opportunities that I could find. And one thing which I did, which was very helpful, was that I had a group of friends with whom we were applying. And each time we have a scholarship opportunity, we will all come together, review our cover letters together, our resumes together, and whatever letters we were asked to supply, to submit, we are going to review all that together. And that's how it really helped us. And one thing too, during our bachelor's degree, we were very close to some few lecturers whom we kept so dear to us because they were always available to recommend us for whatever scholarship we wanted to apply. So what we did was we just went to the lecturers and we told them that, please, we'll be applying for scholarship opportunities. We just want to let you know that we are going to be knocking at your door every moment for a recommendation letter. So so that's how I navigated through my bachelor's, and I finally got a master's program, a funded master's program for Algeria. That was the Pan-African University Scholarship. And when I got to Algeria, to get it short, when I was about to finish with my master's degree program there in Algeria, one thing I knew for sure is that I didn't want to go back to Cameroon. I didn't want to go back to Cameroon. I would love to pursue my PhD degree program. So I started applying for different PhD programs, and I will share with you briefly how I navigated the search for applying. It's true that there are a lot of PhD and scholarship opportunities out there, but there are also very hidden scholarship opportunities that so many of us might not know that exist out there. So firstly, one thing I did with my search for scholarship opportunities was that I made sure I got very acquainted with LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a particular platform where it's a professional platform, and through LinkedIn, there are a lot of opportunities that you could get on LinkedIn. There are a lot, from scholarship to job opportunities, from internships, training opportunities. There are a lot you could get to on LinkedIn. So the first thing I did is I updated all my social media platforms. I made sure I used my right names, and I updated my about me to make sure that it is captivating. Like, it has to be serious and has to be captivating, and whoever comes through my profile should know that I am somebody who is serious and knows exactly what she's doing. So I updated all that together with my LinkedIn. Then I had to start searching for opportunities on LinkedIn. So LinkedIn was one of the platforms through which I searched for a lot of opportunities. Then secondly, I also found opportunities from different groups. There are a lot of opportunities out there that are directly advertised. You will see PhD program, master's degree programs that are directly advertised. I also applied a lot for such of these opportunities. And thirdly, another hidden opportunity which many people don't know about is the possibility of applying directly to the university. And this is how I got my PhD opportunity. So what I did with that is I went on Google. I was, of course, ignorant about this opportunity for a start. So I went on Google and I did a quick search, given that I knew already what field I want to do research on. And I had to use Google different universities and use keywords as energy, because I'm in the energy sector and I wanted to do my PhD in the energy sector. I use keywords as energy, solar PV to research for particular schools which can offer the program that I may want to study. So once I got a list of the different schools that I wanted, I then went through the application process. I had to review the application process to see what are the requirements that I may that is needed of me, and the particular deadline for the various schools which I went through. So I had to make sure that I look at the eligibility, the requirements, and start working on the requirements as soon as I could. And the one thing that also helped me so much is that I had this statement I always said to myself each time I'm applying for a particular program: I lose nothing trying. I faced some challenges, of course, but I always told myself I lose nothing trying. And this made me to contact a lot of people, even people whom I didn't know, to ask for recommendations, to ask for opportunities. I will contact professors on LinkedIn and send them direct inboxes to tell them I'm searching for a PhD opportunity. And also for the particular schools which I had to apply for admission, I will contact professors in that school. I will go to the school's website, go to the department of the program I want to study, search for professors within that department whom I know are doing research, because the website will detail everything about the professor, the research they are doing, and the particular projects they are working on. So for a particular university I'm interested, I will go to the school's website, go to the department of that school, search for the professors who are doing research within that department, take their email address, and I send them emails telling them about my interest in working with them, detailing information about myself, the schools I went through, the grades I had, the opportunities I also had. And I always do that to most of these universities. I was like, I lose nothing trying. So that's how I started searching for potential professors to work with. So this is something that a lot of us who maybe are applying for scholarship opportunities don't know. And through this process, somebody who is doing even a bachelor's degree in Cameroon could have the opportunity to further a PhD degree directly, because once you do that to a particular professor, you send such information to a professor, and the professor is interested in working with you and replies to your email address, then the professor is responsible to give you all the necessary information and the documents that are required for you to travel to follow up that particular program which you said you were interested in studying. So I reached out to these professors. A lot of them, I got rejections. A lot of them said they don't have any funding. A lot of them said they don't have any projects they're working on. But then at the end of the day, a lot too were interested, and I had interview sessions with some of the professors. And at the end of the day, one of them was interested to work with me, and she then sent me the required documents that I needed to apply for my visa, like my I-20 and the admission letters and everything. So I directly applied. So I didn't really apply for a commonly known scholarship, as I would say. But in this case, I went directly to the professors to request for to tell them directly about my interest and how I would love to carry out research in that particular field. So that's one of the hidden opportunities that a lot of us don't know which exists out there. And another thing too that I will say I took very note of when I was applying for all these universities is the requirements, I will say, and whatever international test I would love to write, I had to write. For example, some of the requirements could be gray or white, but depending on the timeline of the application, some schools will waive these international exams. So it is very important that for the particular school you're applying for, you know the timeline, you know the particular exams you have to write, and know if the schools have to waive them or not. And one thing too, which I did, is that some of these schools on their websites, they will tell you that you need to write gray, you need to write ice, but it is also possible that you get into the school without writing any of those. Just like in my case, I had to email the head of departments of the schools I'm applying for. For example, it's an international English exams, right? And I did all my education from primary to master's in English. So I had to email some of these head of departments to explain to them that I already have a good knowledge of English, and tell them that I did all my education in English, and I was waived. These English examinations were waived for me for some particular universities, and including grade 2. I didn't have to write grade to get to the university where I am. That's a question a lot of people asking me, how did you get there without grade, without height? It's possible. You just have to really be determined and know which door to knock. One thing, as I said, I told myself is I lose nothing trying. I was so much determined in getting a PhD opportunity, and I didn't want to go back to Cameroon because, okay, we all know how challenging it could be. So I had to, once I know whom is able to give me what I want, I go directly to the person, and it's just an email you're sending, and the person won't maybe kill you for sending that email, as I always say to myself. And professors on LinkedIn, I had to send inboxes to professors on LinkedIn, professors in my surrounding. I had professors who would recommend me to other professors who have research projects. So that's how I dared to search for these opportunities. That's how I finally got the opportunity to come here to pursue my PhD program in the United States. And one thing I will also say, which I did, was reviewing my recommendation letters. No, not my recommendation letters, sorry. Reviewing my cover letters and my essays. So one thing I did was that once I wrote my recommendation letters and essays, I will always send them to some friends and some professors. I will send them to different persons at the same time and get their feedback and update these recommendations to make sure that they are fit for the particular program I'm applying for. It's a very good practice to always have a lot of people review your recommendations and your essays. And another thing too, which I did, was that, okay, I already talked about this one. I uploaded my different social media platforms. Some of these applications or some of these universities, some of them will ask you to submit your different social media links like LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Some will not necessarily ask, but would also check your profiles. Sometimes you realize that for those who are on LinkedIn, sometimes a lot of people can view your profile, and you don't need to give access to them to view your profile. Even Facebook and every other platform. For LinkedIn, the reason you know is that when anybody views your profile, you will be informed that this particular person has viewed, right? So it's always good to update all your social media platforms. Be careful with what you post, and always be serious. Like, always know what you're writing. Always be careful whoever would tag you into whatever post they are posting, because some of these university or opportunities, they will check once you apply for their universities, they will check your profile to see the kind of person you are, if you're somebody who is serious in what you're doing, or you're just there to maybe waste their time or something like that. So it's important to update all your profiles. And Okay, so in addition to that, I will say that this didn't come easy. These applications didn't come easy. Even though I graduated, maybe I had good grades and I graduated as the best student, maybe in Algeria and also in university in Cameroon, I faced challenge. I got a lot of rejections, a lot of them. I got a lot of rejections. I got a lot of rejections. For some, I didn't even get replies. For some, I got a lot of rejections. For some, I had interviews and still was rejected. And but one thing that kept me going is that I definitely knew that I didn't want to just end at having my master's program. And I knew that though it might be challenging, having a PhD opportunity was possible. So I kept on applying. I had a particular plan for whatever opportunity I was applying for. So I had specific days, right? I would decide, say on Mondays, I will search for different opportunities on, say, LinkedIn or Google, and I will take note of the opportunities which are interesting to me. I'll write them down. And maybe say on Tuesday or Wednesday, I'll take my time and apply for one opportunity. Like I'll write the various letters of recommendations, the various ACs that are needed for that opportunity and share with people for it to be reviewed. So I had plans for whatever opportunity I was applying for. And these plans, I made them taking into consideration the deadlines for the different schools and the application programs. The reason why I'm emphasizing on this deadline is because I have a lot of people who have reached out to me regarding schools here in the US. Like this school where I am currently studying, I have people who have reached out to me. One of them successfully applied and who will be interviewed. Like just as I said, he sent information to the professors. That's some people don't know. So he had to send information to professors. I explained to him that you have to send information to professors. And he did that, and he will be having his interview this month regarding a PhD program in this university. And for the other person who also reached out to me, the reason why I'm emphasizing on the deadline is because this particular person also applied and reached out to professors for sure, but didn't take note of the application deadline because there are specific periods whereby some universities will be able to waive their international exams like GRE or IELTS, and for some periods they won't be able to waive that. So you will be forced to write these exams, either IELTS or GRE, to submit them with your application. So if you don't take note of the particular deadline of that university, you might be able to miss out on the fact that these exams will be waived for you, and you may not have the chance to submit your documents without this exam and will have no choice than write them, which is, we all know how expensive these exams are. So it is important to take note of the particular deadline of the university you're applying for and reach out to as many professors as you want. If you have a bachelor's degree, it is possible. If you have very good grades in your bachelor's degree, it is possible to get a PhD degree from your bachelor's. One of the universities here in the US, one thing they do is that they have 5 years PhD programs. 5 years because they know that it is possible to leave from your undergraduate directly to a PhD program. I have a lot of persons here who had just the bachelor's degree and they are doing their PhD directly. For me, I didn't know that. I had to do a master's and now I'm doing a PhD, and it's a longer route for sure, but it's very possible to leave directly from your bachelor's and start a PhD program if you have very good bachelor's grade and you graduated with very high scores. It's very possible. And email as many professors as you want to, as you could possibly think of. Email a lot of them, and it's going to increase your chances of being selected within the school. And some professors, and trust me, most of these universities here in the US, they don't refuse. It is very difficult for them for your admission requirement to be rejected, I would say. So it's very difficult. One thing they want to see is if you have the funding. If you have the funding, it's very easy that you're given admission, right? But if you don't have the funding, that would be the challenge. And once you're given admission by these universities, the person who actually decides if you're coming or not, who I will say who has the greater percentage in the decision making is the supervisor you're going to work with. Because once you have a supervisor whom you're supposed to work with, this particular supervisor takes the lead from there. The supervisor is going to follow up with you getting your offer letter. The supervisor follows up with you getting your I-20. And with that, I-20 is a document that shows that you have been admitted into a particular university and you have specific financial plans for that, for the given academic year in that university. That is, you have the money for your application fee, no, not your application fee, your school fees has been taken care of, and also your living expenses. So the I-20 would detail the information about the amount of money for your school fees and your living expenses. And with that, you don't need a bank statement. You just go directly and apply for your visa. And this document is given to you by your supervisor. So once you have a supervisor who is ready to work with you, trust me, it's very easy for you to get an opportunity. Some people I have spoken with didn't necessarily apply for admission as I did. In my case, I applied for admission, then I searched for a supervisor. Some people search for supervisors, and once they had somebody who was interested to work with, they directly went now and applied for admissions. And once the admission was granted, the supervisor gave them the required documents and they came into the US for their PhD programs. And it's also possible for master's degree. I have some people who are here. They left Cameroon directly to the US for master's degree still through this particular process. So this is one of the process I wanted to so much emphasize on, because I know it's very rare. Like, a lot of people just know that you need to apply for the opportunities that are shared on different platforms, but they don't know that you can as well go directly to the school website and contact professors, and through them, you will be able to get opportunities to also further your studies. So with that much I believe I've been able to go through all these different steps that I did, and possibly the challenges that I faced, and I'll be very happy to help different people get admissions and also look for supervisors within this school, not just this school or any other maybe university here in the US. It is possible to find. So feel free to contact me if you're searching for such opportunities and you would love to maybe have your letters reviewed. I have a number of people with whom I'm working with, which I review the letters based on my experience and also help them in the application process. And I'll be very happy to do it for as many people as I can. So feel free to ask any questions, any doubts, and I'll be happy to clarify you. Thank you so much. So with this, I think I have, I don't know if I have any questions to answer.
Thank you, Rita. Thank you, Rita. Well said. This is beautiful. So we've all gotten to learn from you the importance of social media, the effect it can have on us, those of us applying for a scholarship opportunity or applying to a university, and also using our LinkedIn to get so many professional opportunities out there. So you all go create your LinkedIn account and make good use of it. And your social media accounts, let's all try to keep it professional and make the best use out of it. Thank you so much, Zita. This has personally inspired me, and I'm definitely going to do that. So we would like to invite Mr. Kaba James to round up with the program for us. And to those who have questions, you feel free to ask all your questions to the respective people, and answers to be provided to them. Thank you very much.
Hello, everyone. On a Sunday like this, after worship, we believe that one of the best ways of praying is acting, doing the things that need to be done to get the results that need to be done. Because there's this parable or this statement that God has no hands but us. God has given us everything we need. to thrive. He made the world and looked at everything, and it was so beautiful. Listening to the panelists present today, there are lots of great things I've learned. I've been in this field for pretty long, and each time I listen to people share their experiences, I mean, there's always something to tap from. Harris and Rodrigue sharing from South Africa. South Africa, the first day I went to South Africa, I was in the company of Ghanaians and people from other African nations. And one of the people from Ghana asked a question to our South African host. We visited the Nelson Mandela prison, or the prison where Nelson Mandela was locked up for 27 years, and a couple of places. So the question the South African, the Ghanaian asked was that, by the time South Africa was getting this developed, where was the rest of Africa? I can repeat the question. By the time South Africa was getting this developed, where was the rest of Africa? That was a question from a Ghanaian. And I just felt like, oh, we share the same, the same thoughts. So South Africa is one of those great countries on the continent of Africa, that sometimes you don't seem to see that there is that much potential on that in that country. For instance, at the University of Pretoria, University of Cape Town, we are yet to have a student leave from here directly to those institutions on a MasterCard Foundation scholarship at the graduate level. We have students there at the undergraduate level, and I'm happy they're thriving, they're doing well, they're excelling, they love the place, and they've never regretted an instant. And, South Africa is one of those countries which is very open to the world. For instance, if you are teaching in the UK with the South African, you will be asked to take the IELTS, while the South African is not asked to take. Degrees from there are a lot respected and so many things. So we continue to look for ways to have more people in South Africa. It was in 2018 that we received in Cameroon, the University of Pretoria, a delegation from there. And to this date, we have not been able to have some yields, some returns on the expenses at the level of open we put in receiving the people. We also want that when a university comes in and we spend receiving them, there should be open scholars who go back to that university as a way of giving back. So I would say that the University of Pretoria owes us that, but then we have to claim it by, applying and getting there. And I truly, really love this statement. We have nothing to lose trying. Thank you, Zita, for echoing that one again and again. On the 10th of April, I think the University of Cape Town shall also be opening the MasterCard Foundation scholarship application. And we'll be hoping that more Cameroonians will apply. In fact, almost everybody who has presented today is accomplished. They've set records in ways that are very inspirational. And no other person can better tell the story than the one navigating. For instance, I just got a message from a student, a graduate student, like 5 days ago. He is not only going to the university in the US to go and study. He has a full scholarship, has teaching assistantship, and when you have such an incredible package, you are going to the US as a worker. You're just not going to study, which is so amazing. And then for a scholarship like the Joint Japan World Bank Scholarship Program, we are yet to have an open scholar in that field. And the universities or the universities that partner with the scholarship program are found in the UK. They're found in the UK, it is pretty easy to get an admission. They're found in the US, where it may be a little bit more challenging to get admission, but not difficult. Not too difficult, I mean. They're found in Japan, they're found in Netherlands. So we just need to go and apply before the scholarship deadline. So at this point, I am very happy, listening to all the narratives, listening to Mr. Teta Philip, who has a very good mastery of the Fulbright program. They say the devil lies in the details. When you read all of these things, it may look like straightforward, but you only find challenges in it when you start implementing. And because we have nothing to lose, and all that we should be focused on should be getting these graduate opportunities, this is something we should not take for granted. I should say again that for the past 2 years, Open Dreams has been trending internationally. as much as we train in Cameroon, we even train in the US and Canada and the UK and South Africa. No, not South Africa, Kenya, Ghana, we train there even more. We are preparing to celebrate the 10th anniversary, and that shall be next year. We're preparing very big. When I say we, I mean all of us. In fact, one of the best ways to make it really impactful is to reach areas that Open Names have not yet reached. Let's get some of these opportunities from everywhere so that we can have ambassadors at every corner of the world, every corner of Cameroon. We said by the time we're celebrating 10th anniversary, there must be a scholar from every region of Cameroon. We hope someday we can have a scholar from every division, every school in Cameroon. So at this point, it's been a great time, getting back on this. It's been a while that we have not had these sessions again, but we're getting started, and I just hope we get moving, because one of the resolutions we took last time was that we want to equalize the number of graduate scholars. For instance, we should not have more undergraduate scholars than graduate. This year, it looks like the number of graduate scholars is already overtaking the number of undergraduates. And if you're one of the graduate scholars seeking an opportunity, know that you need to count more. When I say count more, just grab a scholarship. Have a very happy Sunday, and thank you all. The recording for this session shall be on our YouTube channel plus previous sessions. So please fire your Fulbright applications, fire your Commonwealth applications, fire your MasterCard applications. That's the doorway to grandeur, the doorway to leadership, the doorway to not only building the Cameroon we want, but building ourselves the way we want. Thank you so much, and have a blessed Sunday. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir.
So at this point,
Thank you so much, Mr. James. Thank you. And thank everyone who was able to join us here today. Hope you were blessed. Please, I'll just want a few more minutes of your time, because Rodrigue said there are a few more emphasis he feels like he needs to make mention of. So Rodrigue, please, within these few seconds or minutes, just give us the brief point you intend to share with us. Thank you.
Right, thank you so much. Thank you so much for giving me this small opportunity. Just give me like 2 or 3 minutes of your time. It's just I was just motivated by our last speaker Zita about her journey, and I feel like it resonated with mine. Like currently, I just want to emphasize on that part of updating your social media handles, because that being said, I'm being invited for a program exchange at the California State University Northridge. So, and actually through the visa process, I just want to confirm with what she said. I actually just submitted the D160 form. So, and I later on booked for my interview session. Going to the interview session, I certified a lot of, bunch of documents, knowing that they were going to be taken into consideration. So when I got there, I was just called for an interview, and can you imagine, they just asked for the confirmation page, and that was all, and I was granted the visa. So the program is starting in July, I think July 10 to July 10. And it's actually, it was a scholarship was which was offered by IBS, International Business School of America, in partnership with California State University. So I think they didn't ask for my document because my social media handles were well updated, and I think they got all the information they needed to issue the visa. So that's just what I wanted to say. Thank you so much. Bye.
let me just quickly add something here as we're wrapping up. Yeah, that's so important, Rodrigue. From South Africa, I mean, you can get to any other part of the world. Yes, we've held meetings with the South African High Commissioner. We've held the meetings twice, discussing the visa issue with Cameroonians, because Cameroonians have really been tortured by the South African High Commission. I must be honest about that. So we held meetings with them twice. requesting that, they moderate the way they handle, because sometimes they ask documents that you just don't know why they're asking for them. Unlike the US Embassy, where you go with the pile of documents, sometimes they don't even look at one. They only take your confirmation page scan and expect you to express yourself rather than looking into documentation. So this year, if we have more people heading towards South Africa, we'll be able to push them further, because they actually recognize open dreams. MasterCard Foundation has made appeal to them to make the work easier for open scholars, and we continue to push. So those are just the other things we wanted to add. A very blessed Sunday to everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you all so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's been a wonderful session. I also like to add to the social media aspect. A friend of mine said he went for an interview, and the only thing they asked was his social media name, like his info on social media, and that was it. Yeah. So he was fortunate enough, everything was on point. So you have to be very, very careful when it comes to your social media platform. It can be used to sell you, as well as it can be so disadvantageous. So play safe and keep it professional, simple, and try not to mix your social life with your professional life, especially where you know your career goal ahead of you. Once again, I'm called Esla, and I'm happy to have interacted with all of you and gain knowledge and insights from your different points of view on how you succeeded in getting a scholarship. We all use different means and we still get to the same end point. And I'll say I'm so impressed by how we all use our diverse knowledge and identities to get what we want. So hope we have encouraged you all enough to go out there. Like Zita said, you have to be determined. She said she was determined from the beginning. She's not going back. You have to be determined, and you do it. You get it. So you all have a lovely evening and stay blessed. Thank you.